someone for money if I have a little bit of familiarity with them. So please, take the time to do that. If you're on Facebook, Facebook them. Be a part of their network. Then you need to make a plan to complete your calls. Calls get started after kickoff. Kickoff is Wednesday, December the 2nd. You need to have all of your calls wrapped up about a week before Super Sunday. And I hope that you will all come to call for Super Sunday, because again, Melanie and I are chairing it.
When is Super Sunday?
Super Sunday is Sunday, February 21st. Thank you very much. So that gives you about 3 months to finish all of your calls. About 13 weeks. Most of us get about 10 to 15 cards. You take one per week, you've completed your goal. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Right? One bite at a time. So just take it in small chunks. This is a great way for you division leaders to keep your workers accountable. Let them know your expectations before solicitation season starts. Let them know. I think a good plan for you would be to try to get one per week done. At the end of the first month, you know that they should have 4 calls completed, checked off their list. And if they don't, gently remind them that they should. You should be checking in with your workers at least once a month. One of the most important things that you can do is ask for a face-to-face solicitation. I know we talked about answering machines and caller ID and how difficult it is to confront someone on the telephone because it's so impersonal. Again, and I think everyone has tried to talk about this today, you're making a personal connection. You're making an emotional connection with another person. You are a steward of the Jewish community. Get that across to them. A lot of these people have no contact with Jewish Federation 365 days a year. You are the face of Federation to these people. Be that face. Go out and meet with them. In the book, there is a very nice step-by-step guide on things to talk about when you are making a face-to-face solicitation. So please, read that. Invite them to coffee. Invite them for lunch. And remember, you're enhancing your own network. When it's time to submit the card, again, you can take checks, you can take credit cards. I bet the Federation would even take a big wad of cash. The last thing that you've got to make sure that you do is send a thank you card. There's a good chance that you're going to be calling on these people again next year. So make sure to send a thank you card on behalf of yourself and behalf of the Federation. It's a very nice touch when someone has received a personal, handwritten note from you, thanking them for their time and for their generosity. Now what I'd like to do now is I'd like to open it up just for a couple of minutes and talk about some objections that you guys hear, that we can maybe brainstorm some ideas of how to get over those. The economy's slow, my portfolio's down. Does anyone have any things that they typically hear? And if you have a suggestion on how you can get over it, let's hear that too. Bonnie? Would you like to start us?
Well, you mentioned it. The portfolio, the stock market is down, the portfolio is down. We deal with physicians, and Medicare's cutting the fees, reimbursements are down, making less money.
I don't like where you're sending your money. I'm going to send my money directly to Israel.
So how do we overcome this?
You tell them exactly what we do with the money that goes towards it.
I think it's important to have at least 3 stories. A local story, something that happens in our community that you feel moved by, something that happens overseas, like Debbie's story about the woman in the former Soviet Union, and then I think it's also important to have a story about Israel, something that you can relate to people on 3 different levels, and a current story. And I know that there are many stories also in this book that can be used to at least start a conversation or close a conversation. But I think that that's important too.
Barbara.
In response to, I want to give to the individual organizations, we need to be very clear about how Federation works and how it is an umbrella fundraising organization and what the reason for that is. And it's important to remember that that goes back to the very roots of Judaism, if I'm not mistaken, and but I can confirm that. But the kupas, as it's called, was the central giant tzedakah box, if you will, of the Jewish community. And people gave to that, and then there was some kind of, let's assume, a board, for lack